Avowed meltdown moment as Obsidian copes over Disastrous sales. And this is from the Archcast, who I love this guy. He's a great channel. First time I found out about this guy was from Asmongold reacting to him. I was like, I love his voice. He's amazing. And then I heard him actually like talking about stuff. I'm like, oh, he actually knows his shit too. Bonus. He's great. So instant sub. And then I started seeing him on side scrolls and stuff. And he's all around good dude. I got nothing bad to say about this guy. So let's see. It's 11 minutes, 29 seconds.
Actually, Chud's Avowed is doing totally great. You see, Obsidian Entertainment is very happy with sales so far. Oh, I doubt that. I very much so doubt that. That sounds like a rather massive cope and seethe to me, particularly considering that apparently the game took 6 years to develop and 2 reboots.
There's no way. First off, there's no way. 2 reboots? There's no way. That's insane. That's insane. What a complete shit show. And people are trying to say that Avowed is a success because we don't know Xbox Live numbers. We don't know what Game Pass numbers are, and if they're going crazy and people are just playing it hand over fist and everyone's just buying it up like crazy. 6 years and 2 reboots. Do you have any idea how much money gets poured into that? This game is an abject failure by any measure. Any measure.
Boy. Okay, we're going to get into that in a second, but just to illustrate how happy Obsidian is with their game, well, there was a thing going around here. I was given a tip by the real Zartak, thank you very much.
I love his voice, yeah.
That apparently somebody had been banned from their Steam forums, which is
I also
well
love
within
his voice.
the developer's right to do. They run essentially their own Steam forums, and they get to ban whoever they want there for what.
Netflix Foreign says Avowed is Microsoft's Concord. I mean, probably not to that extreme, but yes. By the way, so he's talking about the people being banned from the Avowed Discord server, and I've had multiple people tag me with wanting me to cover this situation. So we'll let Archcast do it, and we'll just comment on it because I've been meaning to get around to this. This is wild.
Whatever reason they want. But the reason was a little bit unique, as the person claims to have been banned for anti-DEI behavior, which is not allowed on their forums. Oh, really now? Why were you banned? Anti-DEI behavior. Worthy of a little bit of a medal, honestly, in my opinion. So, the screenshot quality here is atrocious because I took this from a YouTube video. As initially, there was just a picture of the ban reason, which does indeed read, you have been banned, or what's going on. User was found engaging in anti-DEI, which is not tolerated on this forum at the bottom here.
Okay, so anti-DEI behavior is not tolerated. And you want us to purchase your game when we are anti-DEI. Let's see how that works out for you. Because that alone makes me never want to play this game. Like, that is brutal, taking that approach. Imagine telling, I was going to say 50% of your player base, but let's be honest, 95% of your player base, hey, what you feel about DEI is not tolerated about our game, but please still buy our game. Imagine.
Now, initially, I was rather skeptical because that sounds idiotic,
right?
Even by current day standards, even in a company as obviously progressive as we won't hire white people, Obsidian Entertainment, but it seemed too much. Well,
which, by the way, Matt Hansen, as far as I have heard, is still gainfully employed at Obsidian. The guy that was saying that he wants to retire to the woods and hates white people, even though he himself is white.
There was then a YouTube video released which showed the entire conversation, plus the screenshots and the ban reasons. So this could still be faked, but it'd be difficult. I also
That's
looked
not
up the
faked.
name of the guy who
It's
had
not faked.
supposedly been
Allegedly.
banned, who then created another thread thereafter, which is this one here. My sincere apologies. And he does not appear to be on the Steam forums for Avowed anymore. As I did a
Wait, hold on. I need to read that real quick. Hi, guys. I just have to say I'm sorry for my terrible behavior, and I'll never make this mistake again. How dare you wrong think? Look at how they train people. This is what they're doing. They're like, hey, that behavior is not allowed. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, okay. You're sorry? You kissed the ring? We'll let you back into our club. These people are fucking psycho.
apologies, and he does not appear to be on the Steam forums for Avowed anymore. As I did a search for him, he's no longer there.
Wow.
So it seems like he came back after his 48-hour or 24 hours ban, which is also mentioned in one of these screenshots here. That'd be back on the 21st of February, 4:55 p.m. And he decided to kick the hornet's nest again, for which he was then presumably banned for further.
Wait, was he joking? I didn't. Okay, now I need to like read this better. It's so small though. Why doesn't he read it? I didn't realize being anti-DEI was against the rules, though having been banned for 24 hours really made me think, ... Good. I'm so much happier to hear that he doubled down because fuck Obsidian. And I actually became a proponent of DEI programs, especially the race quotas. I think are a really great idea. I'm sorry I didn't see this earlier. Obviously, this is tongue in cheek, and tried to convince people it's a bad thing. I hope the devs of this great DEI masterpiece can forgive me. So together we can push for more race quotas. This is perfect. I'll never make an anti-DEI post again. I'm really sorry. Hope this post didn't break any other non-existing rule, like being pro DEI. Your rules are a bit vague since you're banning people for things that aren't in the terms of service. Also, you might want to tell the people you're paying to defend your game you're a DEI company, because they're all trying to deny it. And then links an image. What a fucking legend.
Reasons thereafter. So,
I mean, that was clearly sarcasm. To be clear.
So, political community moderators. What a surprise in this current day and age, eh? As the thread too appears to be gone. The thread in which he originally talked is still there, but the thread that he, brought up and was apparently, supposedly, I presume, banned for again for anti-DEI reasons is not there. So, honestly, it feels like the developers are a bit butthurt, honestly. It very much so does. And yet, they're totally happy with their sales. Okay, let's talk about that for a second, right? Took 6 years and 2 reboots. And in this article, they even
I would bet it took longer than 6 years. Like, you don't have 2 reboots and get a full-fledged AAA game out in 6 years. 0 reboots can take 6 years. 2 reboots? I mean, maybe, but
talk about that they had a pretty large team initially, and now they claim to have had, I think, 200 plus people working for them.
Wow.
And they mentioned that earlier they had 180 odd people working for them. So a large team, we're talking excess of 100 human beings, right? Working for the 6 years and then grew even larger with 2 reboots, right? Well, there's another game that did that. Dragon Age the Veilguard. It too was in development for I think short of 5 or 6 years.
It was almost 9. It was 8.5 years, not 5 or 6. And that had 2 full reboots.
I think. And it too had multiple reboots. And even though it peaked at 89,000 players, which relatively speaking to the size of the franchise and the amount of people working on it at the time, was not only assumed by us to be a failure, but made evident to be one by the fact that EA then gutted the writing department and threw them out on the streets.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and now that writing department, that same group of people is out there being like, hey guys, I have experience in AAA gaming. I need a job right now. I'm currently out of work. Like, I have experience. Please hire me. Oh God.
If that was a flop, I really, really don't think Avowed's peak at 17,490 is anything to be happy about, which does indeed appear to be the highest peak that we are likely to see. Pure, undiluted copium. And I want to point out as well here, in all due likelihood, had they stuck with the original vision, it would have done way better. So let me show you something here. Let me show you something rather interesting. This is the Avowed announcement trailer. This was from like 4 years ago, damn near 5 now, I think.
Wow.
I'm just gonna show you this.
Oh yeah, it's a lot darker, right?
And just you've seen some of Avowed from my stream on it, right?
It's a lot
Look at
darker.
this was apparently intended to be sort of kind of like a very Skyrim-esque style game, possibly with multiplayer. It was supposed to have action.
It was
cool
not
stuff.
possibly. It was originally supposed to be a multiplayer game, and that got scrapped.
Adventures, deep dark dungeons, mysteries, which didn't really appear, frankly. It had the promise of a big, epic, cool world, you know? And this was the trailer that got me excited.
This looks so good.
Wow. Okay, you've got knights fighting, you've got undead skeletons, you've got archers shooting at hordes of the living dead, you've got this huge underground Mines of Moria-esque place, right? Wow. And you know, this place looks awesome. The guy pulls out his sword, it's glowing, and he makes a sign in the air to bring up magic, right? As some mysterious creature, some power awakens in the deep.
Like, not gonna lie, that game looks awesome. What was this, 5 years ago? He said 4 years ago? What happened? What the hell happened to it?
That looks really cool. And it reminds me a lot of Might and Magic Messiah, one of my favorite games ever, and still the game with the best melee combat in video game history, okay? Amazing stuff. So I was like, wow, okay, Skyrim, but with better magic, better swordplay, and an all-new, cool, and awesome-ass world with enormous Mines of Moria style set pieces and Balrogs and crazy shit and armies of undead and fortresses. Like, yes. And what did they end up with? Well, here's the trailer for the pre-order version.
What is this?
Holy shit, right?
What is this? Like, going from that trailer to this, it's like, wait, what? Who did you let go that made that original trailer, and who'd you bring in to make this one? Because what?
Okay, sure. An initial teaser trailer is always, its representation of the final product is always going to be a bit
true, but this is totally
different.
different.
But holy shit! It's like,
I don't see Arch swear very often. That's how you know it's bad.
It's like they were basically producing Skyrim, right? 6 years ago, they were making Skyrim, which even then it was like 6 years after the release of Skyrim. As people tend to forget, but Skyrim is like 13 years old.
I think it's more than 13 years old.
Video game. Which
I think it's like 15 years old.
Really does feel like it dates me, but details. And so they started working on this 6 years after that again, thinking like, okay, we can do that. But then the cultures was shifting. The left appeared to be in complete
14. Okay, so
nobody
in between
seems
us,
to be able to stop it, and it's like, oh,
11,
Jesus,
11,
okay,
11. Wow,
we can't do this. We can't make a cool ass action RPG. Which, by the way, 47,000 upvotes, 752 dislikes, 2,900 upvotes, 22,000 dislikes.
Oh, but don't worry, guys, it's a success. Likes and dislikes don't mean anything. Don't worry.
We can't make that cool-looking game. Let's make a flowery, dumb game filled with mushroom zombies and ugly women. Yeah, that's where the winds are turning. That's how we're going to have economic success and a huge player base in the future.
And oh, by the way, Matt Hansen, the art director Who made the game look the way it does? I don't know. Maybe the art director.
Future about that. About that indeed. Okay, this is another reason as well why the Skyrim comparison is actually entirely fair. I mean, I kind of brought it up in the previous video.
Oh, it
that,
absolutely is.
It's a much bigger franchise, Bethesda, much more pedigree, etc., etc. But
Obsidian?
they were trying to make Skyrim.
I don't know, but Obsidian has a very storied history. Like, yes, I'd say Bethesda is above it, but it's not like way above it. Like, Obsidian has some bangers from back in the day. And if you're going to make a game trying to be Skyrim 14 years after Skyrim comes out, you already have the template created of a successful game. Just do that and make it better. And they couldn't even do that. They did it and made it worse.
They were attempting to make a Skyrim killer. They entered into the development process with the intent of creating this. This was what they wanted to make. Okay?
So good.
And this looks so very Skyrim-y. This is what they wanted to make initially. And then they ended up with this for, I guarantee you, political reasons.
Oh my god, that's like the colors of the fucking rainbow. Looks like Skittles there on the screen. What a dark RPG fantasy game.
That's absolute ideological capture here. Like, just look at these characters. Unquestionably so. They thought themselves that, again, the left was absolute dominant, there would be no changing it, therefore we can't make a cool game about cool things. We gotta make a cringe one. And
Justin Wilson says, look at that Skittle Squad.
Cringe game, and no amount of copium about how they're totally happy with their sales is going to change that fact. If Dragon Age...
don't forget, by the way, they tried to community note me when I called this game a failure. When I was like, oh, it's a complete bust. And they're like, no, it's not. You don't know the Game Pass numbers. And I'm like, I don't need to.
Origins, with a much better pedigree, a much better named studio behind it, etc., could still be a flop with these numbers due to a 5-year development.
Chaos 7. Okay, Matt, what's our direction for this character, Matt? Pink.
Cycle with comparable numbers of people. Yeah. This ain't going well. And I would not at all be surprised if we'll start seeing layoffs happening at Obsidian Entertainment quite soon. Perhaps, Microsoft will hold on to them, thinking that they can recapture their glory days, that they might be able to push out a Fallout New Vegas again, but layoffs have been awfully frequent.
Oh my God, guys.
Late.
Oh my God. Don't look. Don't look. I want you to give me a guess. What do you think the player count right now on Avowed is currently in game? Right now. Just give me a number. Just give me a number. Don't look. No one look. Just give me the number. The peak was almost just 19,000. 19,000. And it's true. It's late. It's true. It's late night. So we got 5,000, 6,000, 10,000, 5,386, 3,000. And then we got a bunch of zero. Lance with the zero. I like it. I like it. Price is Right style. I like that one. All right, here we go. You guys ready? You guys ready? 4,367 players. It's almost an all-time low. And it probably will be when it hits this time at night. Yeah, in 3 more hours, it will be at an all-time low from launch. B. Vargas says, way better than Veilguard still. True. True. But yeah, wow. Compare that to Monster Hunter Wilds. Oh, we will.
Came off an entire year of mass layoffs. Even this year as well has followed on with quite a few more. And this is not the kind of showing that Mike.
Hyper Fantasy Handbook says in 4 days, it's dropped 75% on average. What the fuck? B-Man shares my video, Avowed, dead on arrival. The one they tried to community note when I was like, yep, this game ain't going anywhere. You can tell right off the bat. It's like, nope, it's done. It's done right out of the gate. You're like, yep, it's exactly what we thought. And it didn't help that the art director was extremely racist and Microsoft and Obsidian kept them on board. It's like, oh, okay. That's how you feel about them? Well, we'll see how I feel about my money. And then you see these stories that Arch is going through here about how they're banning people for being anti-DEI. It's like, oh, you know what? I think I'm good with keeping my money. Thanks, though.
Microsoft is going to be looking for, I don't think. Depending on, it could be that its Game Pass numbers are amazing. Bear in mind that particular caveat, but
they're not. Well, they're not. I can tell you from firsthand experience, just speaking to multiple friends that don't live in the YouTube world, that they're just the normies. I have normie friends, guys. I don't just have YouTube friends. And my normie friends are like, yeah, I tried it, thought it was gay as shit and didn't play it. Or I tried for an hour, it was boring, didn't want to keep playing. Like, these are my normie friends that I talk to about this. People that play games a lot but don't live on YouTube are like, yeah, Avowed, they were hyped for it initially. They liked Skyrim, and they're like, yeah, no, Avowed is not Skyrim. It's not worth it. Review Big Cheese 200 says, I wish I had friends. Review Big Cheese, I'll be your friend.
Own here, because if this does go on Game Pass and it, well, doesn't really earn as much money because it needs to pay off the studio, Obsidian Entertainment, but if they've got some unique agreement with Microsoft, of course, Game Pass and so on, the earnings from that are likely to be pitiful at best and at worst.
And remember, by the way, Obsidian is a Microsoft game studio company. So it's basically like they're paying themselves with Game Pass for this game. Keep that in mind. When everyone's like, oh, but it's Game Pass numbers. It's like, oh, the Microsoft-owned studio that's Game Pass. That one.
Actually detrimental to Microsoft as a company. So, yeah. I feel like Obsidian is on thin ice right now, but we'll have to wait and see.
I'm telling you guys, by the way, from what my insider told me, I haven't spoken to them for about a month and a half, but the last message I had with them was one of sincere concern for the employees working there. Some of the ones in higher up positions too, not just low level. So, but take that with a grain of salt, because you never know. Even though this is the same employee that has provided me actual tangible like information, Slack messages, emails, but you never know. You never know.
I've been Arch. Thank you all very much for watching, and I do hope to see you all again soon.
Great video by Archcast. That was great. What a banger. And holy crap. If you didn't think Avowed was screwed before, stick a fork in it. It's like the other day when I was making mac and cheese for my daughter. And yes, I'm going to tell this embarrassing story. I burned the mac and cheese. How do you burn mac and cheese? I didn't put enough water in it. And I came to the office to do something. I don't remember what I was doing, but it was boiling and the mac and cheese was cooking. And I went back to go stir it, and all the water had boiled down and been gone. And it was black at the bottom and smoke everywhere. I'm like, I burned mac and cheese. That's Obsidian trying to make Avowed right now. How do you screw that up? I found a way. Yeah. But anyways, great video by Archcast.